Hi there, it's Natasha and thank you so much for joining me today. This is the patterned paper that I was completely inspired by to do this card today. Now this is a super quick and simple kind of card, and it means that you don't have to do lots of the thinking. Actually, a friend of mine, Sasha Reed, she sent me this piece of paper and I hoarded it for so long until I finally decided that I needed to do something with it. So I'm using some chipped sapphire ink to create a matting layer for the card that I'm going to do. And I want it to kind of be similar to that piece of pattern paper to the left. Not the same, but just like a nice dark colour that kind of has a tinge of blue peeking through. So I go over it with the chipped sapphire, and then I am going to add a bit of black soot distress oxide inks to the top. And then I kind of think it actually needs a bit more, so I come back here and add a little bit more of the black soot just to darken it up a little bit more. Now, as I said, I took inspiration from this piece of pattern paper, and I could have actually just used the piece of pattern paper. But I felt like creating something, and I felt like kind of making rather than just sticking down. So this was my compromise somewhere in the middle. So if a piece of pattern paper kind of inspires you, you can take parts of it and create other parts yourself. That's what I kind of feel I was doing here, taking some from the pattern paper. If you wanted to go all out, you could definitely recreate these flowers and see what you have in your stash and stamp them out and do everything. But yeah, it's up to you. At the moment, I am just picking out some of the flowers that I want to add to my bouquet on the front. And I'm just going to actually cut out this one twice, but I'm only going to cut out the bottom part because I want to make it a little more sort of 3D-ish. So I'm just going to cut out that bottom part there, and I will end up sticking it on top of the other one, directly on top of the other one, to make it a nice sort of 3D shape later on. You can see I've cut out a whole bunch of flowers, and then just out of that dark background, I'm cutting some super basic leaf shapes. Not complicated at all. So here I'm just adding that second little layer to this flower, and as I said, it just gives it some really nice dimension. These foam squares are from Aliexpress. I'm sorry I don't know where the pattern paper is from, but wow, it is gorgeous. So I have hoarded this last piece in the middle here, but you can see how it kind of has those pink dots all around it. I'm going to take a photo with my phone and so that I can remember what it looks like, and I want to recreate those pink dots in my pattern somewhere. So I'm actually taking the back end of a paintbrush, two paintbrushes in fact, one that I felt had a wider dot and one that kind of created a smaller dot. You might also have a stamp that does this somewhere in your stash. I was just looking for sort of quick and easy. I think this might be some worn lipstick colour. As I said, I was just recreating what was in that pattern paper, and now I'm going to use that black soot and add in some dots as well with this one. It just creates a nice little bit of kind of texture and interest in the background, to make it not quite so plain. I'm going to stamp my sentiment in some VersaFine Onyx Black ink, and it just says birthday wishes, a nice simple easy card. Then it kind of comes to just putting it all together. As I said, this is a quick card when I felt like creating but not doing it all from scratch. So I have my little posy here, and I'm just going to add some flat using some Ranger multi-medium glue in the matte finish. This is in the new glue bottles, which I am loving using. They have a nice fine nozzle. This is the 30ml version. I will link them down below in case you're interested in having a look. And I just use a syringe to fill them up with the matte medium. So some of these flowers I am putting down flat, and some of them I am adding some foam squares to the back and just moving them around a little bit until I am happy with how it looks. Adding in some of those leaves that I cut earlier. I say leaves loosely, they're just leaf shapes. And that kind of adds in that nice dark combo that matches with the center of the flowers. And then I had covered up quite a few of my dots, so I actually decided to go back in and add some more. This technique works really well. I love the look of those dots in the background, and I love the two different paintbrushes that sort of add the two different sized dots. It looks really nice, and as I said, I feel like it adds that perfect little element. I'm just adding some liquid glue and going to put that panel down onto the one that we ink blended earlier, and then from there I'm going to add some double-sided tape, and I'm just going to do my little trick that I always do with this double-sided tape that's in almost all of my videos, where I add all 4 sides and then peel back a little corner of each one, but peel off the middle part completely, and that way it helps me line up the cards perfectly every single time. So I'm just adding it onto a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch 110 pound Nina Solar White card base, and that is my card complete for today. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you can gather some inspiration from some pattern papers in your stash, because I know you have them. And I will see you next time. Thank you. See ya. Bye.